And it looks like we're live. Hello, Facebook and YouTube. Thanks for taking a few minutes out of your Thursday afternoon. A little bit of a messy day just as we forecast. You know, this morning was kind of a spring feeling one, wasn't it, Chris?
Did you feel that? Boy,
Yeah.
it was incredible this morning. It was near the mid-50s if you were up really early. We said that this was going to be kind of a messy afternoon and evening as we drop very quickly. We've got people that are joining various streams across the area. Maybe you're joining us Facebook Live right now, YouTube Live, or you're seeing this in various sources.
Yeah.
We love to have you along. We appreciate you're joining in on this, and we look to get you some good information. So if you have any questions or comments, we'll do our best to try to monitor some of those comments, but throw them into the comment section, and we'll be able to at least respond to as many of those as possible.
Sure. And we should be getting a push alert on that WTOL weather app as well. That's a great tool to have on a day like today, where we're seeing a lot of transitions and some quick changes in the weather. Just like those temperatures plunge, we're seeing a quick transition from rain to that messy, icy mix, and then eventually a bit of snow on tap for the evening hours.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go. I need you to type in the comments right here where you are and what type of precipitation you're seeing, because John, it looks like I don't know, I want to say it this way, but it looks like radar kind of just threw up this afternoon. Look at what we're seeing on the screen right now. It's really messy. So we are getting some reports of snow, sleet, freezing rain, and just plain old rain in parts of our area. So we've got, let's see, we've got, boy, people coming in from all over the place. Tiffin, we're getting rain. That is from Ashley. Liberty Center, we're getting sleet, and that's lining up right with what we see on radar right here.
Do we have any southern Michigan viewers who are seeing snow yet? We're seeing a bit of blue there on Doppler radar. So indications are that as temperatures drop, we could transition to some wet snowflakes too.
And I'm getting a lot of reports of freezing rain. We're getting freezing rain. Gibsonburg, freezing rain is showing up toward Fayette. Ice across most of southern Michigan. And I do expect, John, the timing of this one, it is, again, going to make a transition fairly swiftly as we go after dark tonight.
Yeah, the freezing rain threat's going to be pretty short-lived. I know for many folks, that's almost worse to drive in than the snow. We do have a few more hours left of the icy risk before we transition. And, of course, it's going to happen right around the evening commute. Never fails, but that evening commute's going to be slow going today. And after dark is really when we're going to start to see the heaviest snow.
So, John, take us through this on radar, kind of what we're seeing right now, because maybe you're not accustomed to seeing all these different colors on radar. So explain to our viewers exactly what we're seeing on radar.
Yeah, so further to the south, I'm going to point the arrow towards Wyandotte and Crawford counties into Seneca County. The green means rain, and those of you to the south are still clutching onto those warmer temperatures. Now, the mix zone, that pink right in the middle, that is freezing rain. That falls when the air temperature itself is above freezing, but when it hits the ground, that's when we have some problems and it freezes over and forms a glaze of ice. And that's a pretty easy one to see, because if you look at your trees, your bushes, anything outside that may be a colder surface, it's almost like it's rain that's sticking to that tree. So if you look at your tree branches and there's a fresh glaze of ice, that's usually an indication that you're seeing freezing rain, indicated by that pink
I just
color.
had a comment from Cindy in Oregon, really described it accurately. She said, I can actually hear the pings on the window. That's going to be sleet. So it's already frozen ice pellets that are hitting the windows. They almost look like
Dippin' Dots.
Dipping dots, right? The little dipping dots.
Unfortunately, they're not.
They're not as tasty, I can promise you that. But not as bad as freezing rain, though, because freezing rain, if the layer is actually below freezing, that could create some icy conditions very quickly out towards Springfield Township. I had some reports that we're getting some icy roads, and I do expect that it's going to get icy very quickly as we go into the evening.
And for those folks who might not be familiar with the purple color, that usually indicates sleet. So that's what Chris was describing, those ice pellets that fall from the sky. And of course, it's not ideal to drive in, but that usually is more of a slushy, crunchy type system to drive in versus the freezing rain that is a glaze of ice.
Freezing rain in, let's see, Edgerton and Pettisville, and we also have sleet in Delta. So lots of different type of precipitation coming in. Thank you for that report from Amber in Delta about the sleet.
We got a viewer from Temperance who said still ice, no snow just yet. That's a very, very close call there across southern Michigan. You'll be seeing snow in a matter of a couple hours, but right now sounds like most folks in southern Michigan are still seeing some icy conditions.
All right, John, take us in a little bit closer. You've got some areas where we're seeing that transition zone that's occurring right
Even
now.
just in the Toledo metro, there's a sharp cutoff, a very big difference between what we're seeing, say, towards Grand Rapids and Waterville versus Perrysburg versus Holland and Sylvania. Although given that we just got a report of some ice up in Temperance, I would guess that Sylvania is still seeing ice as of now, even though we are seeing a little bit of blue on there.
I would imagine that is very likely to be ice as well. Roadways, I'm more concerned as we get toward the evening drive because it's 9 minutes after 4 o'clock as we are now live on YouTube and Facebook and various platforms. So we appreciate you all, first of all, supporting our products here and looking for our weather information. We're going to be live on WTOL 11 at 5 p.m. and I can nearly assure you when we hit the airwaves at 5 p.m. conditions are going to be likely worse than they are right now and trending down quickly because we're not just talking ice, John, which we have right now and it's being reported sleet and freezing rain. We're eventually going to be talking snow that's going to come into the area. So why don't you kind of take us through the cool down and the transition that we're seeing hour by hour? Yeah,
the temperatures really tell a big story about today's weather. In fact, that drop to the 20s up in Hillsdale, that's a sign that we're going to start seeing some snow soon. Now, it's hard to believe that down to the south in Crawford and Wyandotte counties, still in the 40s, but no matter where you live, it has dropped drastically throughout the day, and those temperatures are going to drop rapidly overnight. We can jump into the hour-by-hour forecast in a bit to show folks that potential for some heavy, wet snow through the evening hours.
Did you feel it this morning, though? We said when we started this, it was in the 50s this morning, but the most incredible thing really happened, and depending on where you were, but it was in the Toledo metro between 10:05 a.m. and 10:20 a.m., a 15-minute period, we plunged 13 degrees in 15 minutes. We went from 50 to 37. It was incredible.
And you probably felt the wind turned from a southerly breeze to that cold northwest wind. Really felt it there.
All right, so we've got lots going on here. Fortunately for tomorrow, we're getting some of these reports in too. It is Friday. We expect very poor travel conditions overnight, tonight, into tomorrow. We do know that many schools are off tomorrow, scheduled to be off. TPS, one of those schools, it's scheduled to be off. Several other ones as well, making it a 4-day holiday weekend with President's Day weekend. But we do expect it's going to be icy into tomorrow morning. So we've got lots to get to with this transition, John, and snow totals. So hang on, don't go anywhere to those snow totals. Here we are when we hit the airwaves 5 o'clock, John. We're still going to be seeing, let's say, maybe a 50-50 mix at this point, right?
Yeah, at least most of northwest Ohio is still going to be seeing icy conditions. It's southern Michigan into, say, Williams and Fulton counties that'll be starting to see that transition to snow by the 5 o'clock newscast. And then by 6 o'clock, right around sunset, that is when the snow is really going to start in full swing.
So getting some reports now up toward Blissfield. It's about 80% snow or 80% sleet, 20% snow. So that's lining up almost exactly with what we're seeing on our maps right now. It's really north of the state line where we're starting to see that sleet transition to
and it's
snow.
going to be one of those evenings where just in a matter of a few minutes you can see a change in what's falling from the sky.
It'll get ugly though after 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. It's going to be steadier snow as the ice threat comes to an end, and temperatures are going to continue to plunge. We're right around 31 right now. 31 to 33 will be a good 10 degrees colder by 10 p.m. tonight. And this is when, John, we're going to be seeing accumulating snow that will go on top of that ice and that water.
Yeah, heavy snow falling tonight. And also keep in mind, as far as those road conditions go, with all the rain that we got today, similar to our last system, crews unfortunately can't really adequately pre-treat the roads when it rains ahead of time. So due to that, expect hazardous conditions tonight. And of course, when you have that sheet of ice under the snow, that'll make things even riskier for tonight's forecast.
Big shout out to Walter Gibson up in Bedford, Michigan. Said, love you guys. You work so well together.
Thank you, Walter.
We enjoy what we do, and we like educating, having a little fun, and making sure that you guys are safe and prepared as this icy mix comes into the area. We've issued that alert. I actually issued it on Monday, alerting you to the fact that we're going to get heavy rain, the potential flooding, which we could talk a little bit about that, and some area rivers that are going to be rapidly rising. Most of them minor flood stage. Ice jams are always very difficult to predict and tough to predict. Now, we do have one river, the Blanchard River. John, we'll talk just a moment about this. Expected to go to major flood stage, just over 15 feet. Now, there is some data that we've been looking at that shows that projected crest at 15.5 feet. And if you're in the Findlay area, you know what these numbers mean. That is major flooding. But I'm seeing some data, you and I were talking about this, that hopefully, fingers crossed, there will be some revisions and we may fall short of that 15.5 foot
for
crest.
sure. Fingers crossed. And as far as when that peak's going to be reached, it's expected early afternoon tomorrow. So the Blanchard at Finley going to reach that roughly 14 to 15 foot crest at about 1 p.m. tomorrow. And the latest observation as far as the river level, just shy of 8 feet currently. So it's a delayed response between the river rising and the actual precipitation that falls, as I'm sure folks down there know. But it's going to take a little while, but within the next, say, 18 hours, it'll start to rise a bit.
We had Mary Beth in Fremont saying, I'm seeing the ice starting to stick to some tree limbs, so we know we're getting freezing rain out there toward Fremont as well. It all will turn to a snow. And then, John, how about this? A flash freeze, a 24-hour temperature change from this morning to tomorrow morning of about 45 degrees. That's about as extreme as it can get around these parts of the area. So I don't care how it falls today, rain, sleet, freezing rain, snow, it's going to be all of the above at some point for everybody. It is going to be frozen solid into tomorrow morning. Absolutely frozen solid tomorrow morning.
Yeah, hazardous conditions continue into the morning commute. And for those who do have to go to school, very possible that there will be some delays and closures because of that.
We've got several hundred people on just our Facebook Live right now, several hundred more that are going to be watching this on YouTube. If you want to do us a favor, please keep those comments coming. Give this a share as well. Our idea is to get ahead of the game tonight because we want you to be prepared before it gets slippery. John, what are we talking about with snow accumulations? Because
oh boy, should we show them the snow map?
Let's go into the snow map because we could literally tell people some areas will see little to no snow, other areas could see close to a half a foot.
It's just
so break this down.
such a sharp cutoff between a lot of snow and not very much at all. But kind of to preface this map, no matter how much snow you get, there's still going to be that sleet, still going to be that freezing rain. Even if you're in that southeastern quadrant where you're seeing, trace to 2, that's not so bad. Keep in mind, there is going to be a sheet of ice underneath that. So don't let it fool you. No matter where you fall in that map, conditions are going to get ugly tonight. But those to the northwest, let's say far northern Williams County, Pioneer, northern Fulton County, even extreme northwestern Lucas County like Metamora, there is the chance for over 4 inches of wet, slushy snow.
And John, this is a map that you and I worked really diligently to kind of tweak and update. And actually, people right now on Facebook Live and YouTube are seeing this before it even hits the air tonight. So the benefit of tuning in on all our various digital platforms, this is the updated snowfall map that has remained relatively unchanged over the past couple of days. We've tweaked the numbers just a little bit here and there, but the general trend has not changed at all. If you're Findlay, Upper Sandusky, over toward Bucyrus, Tiffin, New Regal, Republic, Norwalk, these are areas that may come away with an inch or less of snowfall, and that would occur most likely closer to midnight for those areas.
Yeah, similar to our last storm, the further southeast you live, the later the transition is going to happen. But those folks down towards Norwalk and Tiffin might also have some slush to contend with.
So this is something we're going to have to keep an eye on. David Malone is telling me that they're reporting freezing rain now in Findlay. That would be interesting because, you know, that's on the early side of that transition for Findlay. So hopefully we avoid some significant ice. And people have been asking, is this going to be significant ice where we're going to lose power and it's going to be a mess across the area? No. We can say that that is not going to be the case. You really have to get a half an inch of ice on power lines and on tree limbs to start actually bringing those tree limbs
down. The good thing about what we've noticed with the forecast models is the window of freezing rain is pretty short. So we've got a couple hours left of it, but really it's going to switch over to snow before we get significant ice accretions.
I think it'd be kind of cool, John, just to show people over the past 5 hours how this is kind of changed. And it's pretty complex. You see, we had a couple waves, heavier rain this morning, a brief little lull, and this is the main wave now coming into the area, and it's becoming heavier and steadier. But also notice from north to south what's occurring. This is from about just before noon, looped back and then played forward to where we stand right now, and look at that colder air. It's just oozing into the area.
Ever so slowly. But yeah, seeing that freezing rain dip down towards Findlay, so our report matches up with what we're seeing on radar there. Yeah,
and we obviously don't want to go through any extensive, ice and freezing rain, so we'll keep close eyes on that. It is going to be, it's going to be something that can pose some travel issues if you're going to be out and about, and we certainly don't want people slipping around this evening. So if you don't have to travel this evening,
stay put.
Might be a good idea to stay put. We're going to switch this over really quick if our computer will allow us. I wanted to get some road level views.
Freezing rain, freezing computers.
Freezing rain, freezing computer. You get the picture. But that is rain to freezing rain that's occurring right now in the Findlay area, and I do expect that it's going to get icy and slippery tonight, where they could get around an inch of snow that will go on top of all that, and then of course our flash freeze that will follow up that. We're pretty much getting, I would say that 80% of our reports now, John, are in the form of some sort of freezing rain or sleet. So it's here, the ice is here, and we've got lots to do, you and I, before we hit the airwaves on WTOL 11 at 5 p.m.
Yeah, we'll check out your comments. Keep leaving the comments. Even if you watch after the fact, still great to get those reports, comments, questions. We will answer those as best as we can. And we'll answer them on air, too, with that forecast. So.
Sounds good. Stay safe, everybody. We will see you, John and I, both on air, WTOL 11, starting at 5 p.m. Stay safe, stay put, and we will see you on the TV.